Hello everyone, my name's Brian, and welcome to a deck that has been requested for quite some time. Here we have Eldrazi Tron, and Eldrazi Tron is an interesting version of the modern archetype Tron, in that rather than playing big bad planeswalkers with your 7 mana, you're playing a deck that honestly could take or leave getting Tron on turn 3 every time. So in theory, a little bit more flexible. Pretty much you have your standard Tron lands, and if you've never run into those, it's just if you have all 3, they make more mana. The tower making the most mana at 3 mana when you have all 3. We also have Eldrazi Temples, which are essentially right off the bat, as long as you're casting an Eldrazi spell or playing an Eldrazi ability, they tap for 2 rather than 1. Finally, a couple of other payoffs for this, obviously, are our big mana sinks. Now, obviously, we have the Eldrazi themselves that start as low as 3 mana and go as high as 5 mana. But we also have Planeswalkers, just not the really big ones. We have Karn the Great Creator to get what is called a Karn board off on the side here. So these are all sorts of just toolbox answers, maybe not Kozilek because he's not an artifact, but all sorts of toolbox answers to win you the game, depending on where it's going at that point. Of course, we also have Kozilek, Butcher of Truth, and another copy of All Is Dust in the side in order to, bring in and out. But pretty much Karn-style versions of the deck tend to have sideboards that are more wish boards rather than something you would actually bring in. And other than that, it's pretty much a stompy deck. You have your big old creatures, as in Matter Reshaper, that replaces itself, hopefully. You have Thought-Knot Seer, which can attack their hand. It is a big old 4/4, which, if you're lucky enough, can come down as early as turn 2. You have Reality Smasher, which has a bit of a pseudo-ward going on, and it also has Trample and Haste, and is also a 5/5. You have the Walking Ballista, another big mana sink where you could just ping your opponent down. And also, you'll notice we really don't have many 1-drops. We have some expedition maps to try and get the lands we need. So the Eldrazi Temples, missing Tron pieces, maybe even a Cavern of Souls if we're up against control. And then we have a single Relic of Progenitus because we're playing a Urza Saga, which also helps us get around the Chalice of the Void, but also allows us to go after people who are doing a lot of graveyard stuff in the beginning. And Murktide is a big threat. Dragon Rage Channeler and Murktide itself are a thing. Finally, a little bit of interaction in Warping Whale and Dismember. We have some Mind Stones. Now, these have a couple different purposes. One of the purposes is, of course, ramp, but also it allows you to get around a Blood Moon if one happens to come down, because these all do actually require specifically colorless mana. So that's pretty much the deck. It's not a very complicated deck, truth be told. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of lines, especially when you have a Karn board. There's a lot of lines you have to know and follow and be able to do. So when I don't call it a complicated deck, I'm not saying it's a bad deck or even that it's an easy deck to master. It's just pretty simple. Get Tron lands down, get Eldrazi's down, get Planeswalkers down, beat face. Let's go ahead and jump into some games and see how we do. Join me, won't you? All right, and back into the regular swing of things after last week's Dredge video. We are back to losing die rolls. That's okay. I'm pretty sure Eldrazi Tron is not terribly reliant on draw go. If we had one more land, this hand would have been an absolute banger because we have the Eldrazi Temple, but one lander, I don't think that's where we're going. Okay, so turn 1 Relic, turn 2 Chalice. Hope that stops our opponent. We'll go ahead and give up on Reality Smasher for the time being now. Real quick, I do own a version of Eldrazi Tron in paper. I have played it from time to time, admittedly a few years ago, so it's been a little bit since I've actively played it. Wild Nicodle, that sure is a thing. So play Urza's Mine, play Relic of Progenitus. Unfortunately, I think all of their 1-drops are going to come out before I have a chance to stop them with Chalice of the Void, because this looks like Domain Zoo, which kind of made a big splash. Here comes the Kavu. Oh, Ragavan. Oh, boy. Well, at least it's only going to hit us once. So we get nugged for 5. They're also going to steal something. I hope they do not steal a land. We kind of need our 3rd land. No, Urza's Power Plant. We definitely wanted that. The good news is they're done playing 1-drops at this point, other than whatever Lightning Bolt they play in response to us doing this now. So we'll play out Scavenger Grounds, and we'll just play Chalice for 1. All right. So I'm pretty sure the Domain Zoo deck has a lot more going on, truth be told, but we'll go ahead and next turn get out Mana Reshaper. If we find one more land, then we can curve out pretty okay, obviously, by going 1, 2, 3. I'm hoping our opponent's hand doesn't have things like the Kavu, doesn't have things like the Scion of Draco, I think it's called, that can beat us pretty quickly. But we seem to have stalled them a little bit, unless they're, they're just waiting. They're having good Mitgo and waiting till the end of the turn to do something. Oh no, they do have Scion of Draco. Okay, so That hurts. We have a Dismember. Is that where we're at? Creature control. That flies. So we play Thought Not Seer. I'm gonna, because we can Matter Reshaper or we can Dismember. We can't do both, unfortunately, at this point. I am going to go ahead and Matter Reshaper and hope that it flips us into a land. We're going to take 4, and then next turn we're going to take 2 off our own Dismember, but hopefully we draw into what we need. They're going straight into combat. Hopefully they attack with the Nacatl. Okay, good. We really wanted to turn this into essentially a removal spell that will hopefully flip us into another land so we can keep on keeping on. We do trade, which is nice. Chalice on 0. I don't think we want to... Oh, well, I learned how Matter Reshaper works on Mitgo just now. Another Scion of Draco. That's not good at all. So Warping Whale isn't going to do it. We can Dismember, take 2, go to 5, then we go to 1, and then there's really no saving us, I don't think, because even if we find Ugin, which we couldn't play, we wouldn't be able to do much about it. All right, so you know what? We got time. We'll go ahead and pass the turn, see what they do. We'll also tap our Scavenger Ground here and crack the Relic. We did find an Eldrazi Temple, so if we can somehow survive and somehow take out these Scions, we'll see what their follow-up play is, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So All Is Dust also doesn't stop Scion. Here they come. So Dismember, kill one of them. We have to take 2, put us to 5. We'll go to 1. We have 1 more Dismember, but I don't think anything we have can really stop this right now. Blast Zone. Well, we're not going to get Blast Zone to 12. I will take a look at their hand before I scoop, though, just to get some information. Here comes Thought Not Seer, just to see if there's anything new in this deck that I don't know about. Ragavan. Okay, so the Chalice on 1 really did slow them down. The problem is they went Scion, and that hurt pretty bad. There's no getting out of this, so we'll go ahead and scoop and kind of move on to the next game. So I don't think our All Is Dust does anything. I think the Sundering Titan is amazing. But do we really want to bring in Sundering Titan? Because then we lose 4 copies of it with the Karns. The question is now, what do we bring in? Because we can bring in Kozilek just to have another big thing and then leave all these in the Karn board. Only because the All Is Dusts really don't stop their Scions, and they have 4 Scions. Now they obviously have the Kavus and other things as well, but I think maybe Kozilek is better. I don't really know. I mean, at this point, we just have to hope we find Karn the Great Creator, and then we'll be able to get our Sundering Titan and go from there. Let's try that. All right. Not quite Tron. We do nothing, and that's not going to work against this opponent. This is slightly better. We have the Warping Whale to take out their Ragavan. Let's try this again. We'll give up on Reality Smasher. We just have to find some land, and we should be good to go here. So we'll start with Urza's Power Plant. This way, if they blow it up, we still have Urza's Tower. We'll just kind of pass from here. We don't have a ton of 1-drops, truth be told, so it's not terribly worrying. Now, obviously, they're going to have some 1-drop, whether it's Wild Nacatl or whether it's Ragavan, we're about to see, but our opponent's deck is full of 1-drops. We have 4 Chalices, but apparently can't quite find them. Is this Nacatl? It is Nacatl. Okay. That's a 1/1. Don't know if we make that disappear. Well, we found another Warping Whale. So we play Urza's Tower. I say we Warping Whale this now while we can, and then they can get 1 Ragavan hit on us. That doesn't matter, because we'll have the Warping Whale for the next turn. I mean, if they exile our Chalice, then that's not good, but... Oh, okay, so it's not going to be Ragavan. That's great. We drew another Reality Smasher. That's not amazing. Now we're at this unfortunate part where all of our deck is kind of at 4 or greater, and we have 3 lands. They were the 3 in our opening hand. So here's hoping whatever they do, the Warping Whale will solve it. Please don't be the Kavu. Okay, it is Dashavan. So they're in combat now, which means we can exile another Ragavan. Cool. We are now officially out of interaction. Come on, if we draw a land deck, that would be amazing. Please be a land. Please, please, please. Land, land, land. And no. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, so we lose this game now, which is very unfortunate because we really did a good job of stumping their early game. But man, it's not like we kept a hand with bad land drops. It's just deck didn't behave. And again, I know there are a lot of people out there, especially with Green Tron, who they won't keep a hand until they see they have Tron. Now, I've been told by Eldrazi Tron players that are just better than me at this, that that's not how this works. So they put Goth in a hand. Oh, come on, man. I really need a land to start Thought Not Searing them. You have no idea how bad we need this right now. Walking Ballista. All right, we'll play Walking Ballista for 1 because we need to do something, but Missing this many land drops hurts so much that I honestly think there's no coming back from this now. And that's not a great way to start a video, but that's how the deck works and that's how the deck runs, is sometimes you just don't see it. Now, obviously, had we found the land, we'd been able to, rip Jingatha out of their hand, which would have been amazing, but here we are now. So they just get to play Jingatha if they so choose. Looks like they're not going to do that. Looks like they have a better play, which scares me even more. Chain to the Rocks. So it has to come in and then it's going to target my Walking Ballista. Sure, I'll just pop them. So pop them with the Walking Ballista. Change of the Rocks doesn't do anything. That was their play, really. I'm surprised. Come on, deck. Come on, land. Land, land, land. No! That's the opposite of land! Oh my god, we couldn't have asked for a worse draw. This is so heartbreaking. Dashavan, sure. We tried everything and now they're gonna exile a land and I'm gonna be so sad. Watch it be the Urza's Mine too. Urza's Mine, no! No! Come on! That hurts so much, and now we're not going to draw land? Okay. I don't know how we're still in this game. They stole our Tron piece. We have Urza Saga now, which can, find us some stuff, but I don't know how we're still here, guys. We're going to Thought Knot Seer and see what they have going on over there. Seems like they're debating killing it. Okay, they're not going to. So they have the Tribal Flames. They have Leyline's Binding. They have Oka's Command. Gotha. Okay, so the Thought Knot Seer is dying because they can Leyline Binding or Tribal Flames at any target. I think we're going to take the Ragavan right now. They can play a Jingatha next turn. They can Tribal Flames my Thought Knot Seer. That's fine. But we're kind of grinding here. We have a couple turns until we get a map, and then we'll get the missing Tron piece, but is this Jingatha now? Okay, so they took a turn to Jingatha, which means their Stubborn Denial is now just a hard counter. And a Bauble is what they drew. So they're going to know what we have. Luckily for us, we have another Thought Knot Seer. I get to draw a turn, or draw a card, my bad. Chalice of the Void. Fascinating. So we could make an Elemental, or we could Chalice for 2, which I think is fine. This turns off their Dramoka's Command. It also turns off their Tribal Flames. So blanks 2 cards in their hand. Oh, I forgot about the whole Stubborn Denial thing that I went out of my way to say. So, okay. Maybe next turn we'll play Karn, and then we'll get Ensnaring Bridge, and then we'll hide behind that. They can come in for 5 if they want. That's totally fine. Oh, they're holding priority before blockers are declared, so it's Dramoka now? They're gonna fight the Thought Knot Seer? That'd be interesting. They could fight the Thought Knot Seer and put +1/+1 counter on Jingatha? I mean, it's a legal play. Target player sacrifices an enchantment. Oh, they're gonna kill my land. That, Urza Saga, I'm so sorry, buddy. So, we got pretty dismantled. I don't know why they waited for them to attack before. They sure did. So, we are pretty on the ropes now. They can deal us 5 with the Tribal Flames. They're just gonna do that now? I mean, I guess they saw the Warping Wheel. They know we can counter stuff. There's Tribal Flame. Somehow they still have 4 cards in hand. If we find the Tron piece, maybe we can get away with this. And the reason for that is we would get to play Karn and then play Ensnaring Bridge and hope they don't draw, the next Tribal Flame. Chalice of the Void. So we literally have nothing else going on because we can't cast anything because our land done got blown up. And this was just rough running for this deck, I think. I think this might be a quick L, which is unfortunate for the deck, but it's kind of hard to say what went wrong here, other than, I guess, a bad keep. I was unaware that I wasn't going to draw many lands with this deck. I will be amazed if I don't die right now. Just red, right? Just red and then Lightning Bolt. Tribal Flames, yeah, no, and that's the match. That is a sad start, but hey, can't win them all. Let's try again. All right, game 2, and wouldn't you know it, we lost the die roll, as we are wont to do. No, this seems fine. Again, we have lands, we have payoffs. We don't have Tron, but I don't think we need Tron. Or at least that's what I've been told. Now, if I proceed to get stomped again, then clearly we just need to mull until we find Tron, but that'd be a thing. So we have lands, so we'll play out the Eldrazi Temple. And I realize I'm going to take a lot of damage doing this, but this is actually taking a mana away from. I feel like they would have played out the other creatures if they had them. So we got to Bolt a Bird here. This is either Affinity or Hammer Time we're up against. It looks more like Affinity. Yeah, it's Affinity. There's their Clockwork Automaton. They already get to refill their hand. Our turn 2 is not going to be this explosive. Expedition Map. Is that better? So we play Urza's Power Plant. If we play Mind Stone, we get to Karn. And Karn probably dies, but then we would have Ensnaring Bridge in our hand. Versus if we play Expedition Map. Actually, no, we get to do both. That's funny. Mind Stone. Mind Stone can also tap for mana. We get to do both. All right, so we got to ramp a bit. We have Expedition Map if that would somehow solve our problems. I don't think so. I think next turn we just Karn. Ooh, boy, do we Karn. I don't think they have the counter spells in their main. They normally don't. So, oof, we get hit pretty hard. Okay. So we have 4 mana, so we can't cast... Because if we cast Karn, they just attack us and they win? Do we have anything that can stop this? Man, we are just getting taken to town. I mean, we did take 4 damage off of Ornithopter, but brutal. So I guess let's cast Karn because we literally have no other play. Tick Karn down. Like, there's nothing here we can play. Like, we just take Ensnaring Bridge and then we die. Like, the only thing I can think of is if they somehow Tunnel Vision Karn. If they Tunnel Vision Karn and don't kill us, that's a thing, but like... I don't see why they don't attack us. Yep, okay. We get stomped. Well, that was fun. The good news is we already have a ton of stuff in the side for them. We could take out all his dust. What do we... I guess we put in Kozilek just because we need something. And if we keep drawing Kozilek, I keep getting sad. All right, let's see if we can win a game today. All right, so we get to go first. Is this fast enough? I mean, we have a Dismember, but we learned that we're going to get stomped to death before that. Turn 1 Edition Map. I think we actually have to mull. Let's mull one more time to see if we can find a Chalice. We can't. We kind of have Tron at this point. So what, we give up on 1 Urza's Mine or just 2 Eldrazi Temples? No, we're going to mull to 4. All right, so we keep this. We have to keep 4 cards. So Cavern. Ooh, no. Opposite Brian. So we don't need map at all. We don't need 2 mines. And I guess we need 3. I guess we get rid of Mana Reshaper because we've learned we don't draw cards. So play out Urza's Mine. Now, finding the Chalice and putting it out on 0 would have been great. But apparently they're not in our deck. Who knew? They're just not something you find. So now they're going to vomit their whole hand. Yeah, playing a tap land doesn't mean they... Oh, okay, good. Good. So they didn't play any of their 1/0 drops. So we'll play a Swamp. We'll play this on 0. We could have played it on 1 as well. I think 0's slightly better. Patchwork Automaton, that's fine. We get to get out our Eldrazi dude. Now, obviously, they still get to grow it because you're still casting the spell. But at least it's not sitting on the field anymore. Ugin the Ineffable. That's going to be like 4,000 turns later. But for right now, we have our Eldrazi guy, which essentially is just here to block at this point. And we don't have any card draw spells, so we need to find 1 more land. Frogmite, that's fine. They have... No, they just have Thoughtcast. I would be more than happy if they choose to trade, because honestly, we need everything. We need cards and we need land. Warping Whale. So we can go ahead and just make an Eldrazi Scion token on their end step. Ringleaf Drum, sure thing. Thought Monitor, these are things that occur. I remember when I got to play Affinity. I remember doing great playing Affinity, and then I was like, hey, Brian, why don't you play Eldrazi Tron? After Eldrazi Tron has been beaten out of the meta with both hands, then you'll go up against all these amazing decks, and you too will get stomped. Opponent, can we trade decks? Can we... Oh my god, Thoughtcast into Thoughtcast into Thoughtcast into Thought Monitor. What a world. Soldiers. Now, some of you may be asking why I didn't counter the Thoughtcast with Warping Whale. It's because I need the mana. And clearly they were going to draw those soon anyway. Well, we definitely have to block that thing. Hopefully we draw something cool. Another Warping Whale. That's not cool at all. All right, makes an Eldrazi Scion token. A Mind Stone. I can't think of anything we want less. I think we got stomped again, guys. All right, here comes Mind Stone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Even if we get Ugin out, like, what is that thing gonna do? So at this point, we're just stalling for, I don't know what. I think we got stomped back to back, guys. I really do. All right, we're just gonna die now. Man. The speed. Oh my god, he found so many draw twos. You know what? This time, no. I'm done. No more draw twos. Allow me to slam that door shut after the horse has gone flying out of the stable. Nettlecyst, great. We have so many cards that could actively, like, stop them. You think this would be a pretty decent matchup for us, but no. Oh my god, and we die? Okay. This is gonna be a real quick video, guys. That sucked. All right. Try again? Hey ho. What do you know? We lost another die roll. There's 3 die rolls just taken as an L. No turn 1 play, but there's not a lot of turn 1 plays. We have a turn. Yeah, okay. In theory, this is a fine hand. In theory, we have our creatures. I mean, we don't have any way to cheat them into play faster. Plunkin Forest into Springleaf. Are we playing another Affinity deck? Is that what we're doing? All right, play out our Urza Mine. Pass the turn. Oh, it's like the Core Tapper deck. Yeah. Can't do anything about him. Ancient Stirrings still don't have enough mana to stop our opponent from going off. What do they find? They find a Patchwork Automaton. Good, I'm glad I get to lose to that twice in a row. All right. Well, I think we are just going to kill the Zabaz. Goodbye. Well, there's no modular targets for it. Next turn, we get to play a Matter Reshaper. That's kind of weak, all things considered, but, you know, it's better than not having a play, I suppose. Ink Moth Nexus, sure. Patchwork Automaton, all right, what's your next play? Walking Ballista for 1, sure. I mean, obviously, they're going to start to proliferate soon. I'm glad I got rid of the Zabaz. Chalice of the Void. I don't think that's actually where we want to be right now. I think we want to play Urza's Mine. I think we then want to... Actually, we can stop their hardened scale. We take 1 hit, we stop their hardened scales. Maybe that is correct. Chalice for 1. So we take our beats, but they can't play the B anymore. They can't play any more Ancient Stirrings. They can't play any hardened scales. So hopefully that makes them play fair enough. I realize I got rid of most of their hand already, so again, could be too slow, but we'll see what they do here. If they just start hitting us for 4, because I don't see any reason why they wouldn't just pump the Walking Ballista if they had nothing else to do. Okay, so we get hit for 4 because they literally had nothing else. Right, it's our turn now. Karn the Great Creator. Well, we kind of want that to live if we're so lucky. So we'll play Mind Stone. Then we get to play a Matter Reshaper. We'll see what their play is now because they can't do 1-drops anymore. They can just, I guess they can just pump the Walking Ballista, kill Matter Reshaper, and then attack for 4 again. Yeah, no, I'm fine. I'd rather get something cool than have a Matter Reshaper. I'll trade your Welding Jar. All right, show me something cool, deck. I'm glad we didn't draw that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Ooh, Tron. Okay, that's great. So now that Tron is active, 1, 2, then we'd have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. So we play Karn the Great Creator. This also turns off the Walking Ballista, so he'll have to activate it now if he's going to. All right, that's fine. We go get something from our board. What do we think will work here? We still have 7 mana to play with. We can cast pretty much anything at this point. They can't activate anything, so Karn might be fine. So if we play... I'm just going to go boring, I think. I'm just going to go boring and get the Wormcoil Engine. And then we're just going to play Wormcoil Engine. And now we just get to pass. So as we can see, when this deck gets Tron and Karn, it is a force to be reckoned with. Another Patchwork Automatons. So Karn's going to die is the thing. Oh, just pings Karn. That's interesting. I would have thought they would have killed Karn, is what I would have thought personally. But they're just going to ping it. Urza's Saga. Okay, so they're at a situation where they're not in good shape. But if Karn dies, then we don't have Flying Blocker anymore. And also their Ballista turns back. So if we just play Urza's Saga, just play out our Smasher, play out the Reshaper as well. We do an Expedition Map for Blast Zone for 2. Let's go get Blast Zone, which we're going to have to tick up this turn. Oh, we can't play it. We already played a land. So let's see here. They could have attacked last time. Karn's just going to get ticked up. We'll just make Mind Stone a guy, which means we can even attack with the Wormcoil Engine and start the bleeding. They just pump the Patchwork Automatons, which are fine. We have creatures we wanted to kill off anyway. They can double Blink Moth if they would like. That's totally fine. Because at the end of the day, Karn still lives. And they just attack with those 2 guys, which is totally fine. I think we do cash in our Mind Stone here for another draw. Eldrazi Temple. Well, I'm glad we did that. Another Eldrazi Temple. Okay. That's pretty brutal as far as draws are concerned. So Karn is going to die. There's no 2 ways around that. We just won't target anything with this. Tick them up so that they have to attack with both. We again, though, get to swing in with our guys. Because Karn's going to die anyway. So let's just swing for 11, right? Because we're going to get an Urza Saga blocker. They take it all the way down to 3, which is to be expected, truth be told. We're not going to die next turn, I don't think, especially with them only having 1 card in hand and them having to block now next time. You can kill Karn if you'd like. I'd also like to point out, I'd be pretty close to a Infect Death if they were just attacking me, so I think that's a bit of a misplay on our opponent's part. So now they can machine gun stuff down again if they'd like, but I'm just going to go ahead and make an Urza Saga token. We get a draw. Didn't draw Diddley, so we'll go ahead and Urza Saga again. We definitely don't need any more lands, and I guess Relic's a redraw, so let's grab that. Let's go ahead and Relic. So many lands, so boy, are we seeing all sides of how this can go. Play another Power Plant. Yeah, we just go smashy, I think. The Reality Smasher has Trample is the thing. So if you block the big guy there, yeah, you kind of have to do that. And then they can block the Wormcoil with the Walking Ballista, ping down Matter Reshaper, and block the other Construct token. They end up with nothing, but at least they live. live. Ping. Oh, so they should really take the 1 final damage and hit me 2, otherwise Worm Coil is going to gain me a bunch of life. Oh, I clicked it. I clicked it to do that. We could have had lethal, but again, I'm still learning how Mana Reshaper works on mid-go. This is just a great game to watch, isn't it? Luckily, I think we are punt-proof at the moment, so we'll go ahead and pass and just let them do whatever they're going to do. All right, and we win a game. Oh, my word. All right, All Is Dust, you are just the worst card, apparently. In comes Kozilek again. I want to leave all of this in the sideboard, I think. And other than that, I think we're good to go. So let's just try that and see if we can finally win a match on Brown 3 here. Ooh, Natural Tron in the hand. Yes, please. We'll go ahead and keep this. Admittingly, we don't do a lot turn 1, 2, and 3. We'll see what we draw. We get the Zabaz down, which is not great. All right, so we're going for Haymakers. The thing is, we don't have as good Haymakers as like Mono Green Tron. Now, mind you, the Haymakers in Mono Green Tron wouldn't really do us a ton of favors here right now, only because all of our opponent's stuff is colorless again, and Ugins really care about colored stuff. So even if you had Ugin the Ineffable, or rather Ugin Spirit Dragon, I think it is, there's not a ton you can really do about that when all of your opponent's stuff is colorless. Well, it turns out we should have played Eldrazi Temple first because we were going to draw the other Eldrazi Temple. I think we're too far down this rabbit hole to change now. Next turn, we get 7 mana, so we're going to play a Thought-Knot Seer. Hopefully our opponent's board doesn't go buck wild, but apparently I should have believed in the heart of the cards. Our opponent has their own Urza Saga. Are we just getting nugged for 2, or do they have a Patchwork Automaton? That's not a sign. Coming swinging. Their board might get out of hand swiftly, but we have a Karn is the thing. So we untap. We draw Reality Smash. We have 7 mana to play with. If we Karn, we can Ensnaring Bridge, but they get to hit us anyway. So I think we do what? I think we just Thought-Knot Seer, as boring as that is. Turn 3 Thought-Knot Seer. Definitely Force of Vigor. Definitely Force of Vigor. So they're going to get a massive Walking Ballista. There's not much we can do about that. They have the Haywire Might in play, so even anything we do with Karn isn't terribly impressive. And they're just not going to play any colored spells, so Ugin the Ineffable is just really a cost reductor at that point. They don't attack. That's fascinating. So they don't want to play. I guess they just want to make a token. So Urza Saga. Wouldn't have been able to play 2 Reality Smashers anyway, which is why I opted not to do that. We can play, so 6. We have 2 left, but that only turns to 3. Ugin the Ineffable. I guess Ugin the Ineffable makes blockers, so we could do that. So make a blocker. Expedition map. Glad we're not drawing that. We can go ahead and just get Karn the Great Creator. Stop their artifacts from doing things, because now Haywire Might is actually turned off for a little bit. Anything in Karn we can get to our sideboard. So any of our 2 drops just kind of happens. We can Stone Brain, Pithing Needle. So we can, no, we have our own Urza Saga, so we want to just turn off Urza Saga. Probably not. Console Skyship doesn't really do it, right? So maybe we're playing towards the future. We're playing towards the future, so maybe we just get Mystic Forge, but then we can't play it. We can play Liquid Metal Coating. Karn dies. I mean, I guess we go for the Hail Mary. So we tick Karn down, and we do what exactly? If we get Liquid Metal Coating, Karn's going to die one way or another, I believe. At this point, I think. Because they can just go get their Pithing Needle from their deck. So I guess we try and go bigger, and we get Mystic Forge. And that'll be like a next turn thing. Plus, they have a turn where Karn's turning their stuff off. They didn't make a guy. That's fascinating. Oh, and our opponent forgot to make a guy and shame scooped. So we win. 1 and 2. Hooray, we can still win out. Let's see what we can do. All right, surprising no one, we lose the die roll because Magic Gods are unhappy that last week I did so well with Dredge of all things. So this entire hand is just lands, a Chalice, and an Expedition map. Now, if we were on the play, I would probably keep this and hope that Chalice of the Void could win, but 5 lands and 1 Expedition map, it does not a hand make. I dislike you, deck. We're going to keep this because I never learn, and hopefully our Urza Sagas can dig us out of it. Oh, it's a Tron Mirror. We are gonna get stomped. Green Tron is just definitively better. Now, the good news is neither of our stuff in either direction really does anything. So I will also play in Urza's Tower. However, I will simply sadly pass after that. They're gonna play Planeswalkers, and we are just gonna get taken to town. Okay, had no turn 2 play. Turn 3 is gonna hurt. Urza's mine. Even if we do get Tron next turn, Ugin the Ineffable really doesn't do it against Karn Liberate. So we're going to play Urza Saga, and we're going to try and be like, real fady and shady about it. And I don't know, maybe they're also playing Eldrazi Tron with Chromatic Spheres for some reason. Love that Natural Tron. Love that natural Tron. Karn the Great Creator. Now, none of our stuff does anything, so we'll float a mana. Because after this, our Mind Stone doesn't do anything. Really, I think in this particular matchup, it's just whoever plays their Karn the Great Creator first that wins. So they're just going to get Liquid Metal Coating, right? And then we just scoop. The Stone Brain. I mean, they can cast it. They can't do it. No, I guess they just get rid of our Tron lands by doing that. And I'm just not a good Tron player. I just don't have natural Tron in the opening 7. If I just had natural Tron in the opening 7, I could really be good at this deck. But unfortunately, when you don't have Tron in your opening 7, you know, you're just not as good a Magic player. What could you possibly do other than sit here and suck in so much salt? All right, another Urza's Tower. So we made the right call. Play Urza's Mine. Yeah, that is about all we're going to be able to do here. They're going to suck up all of our power plants. So now we'll never get Tron. And as you kind of saw in the one match we've won thus far, you kind of do need Tron in order to, you know, win the game, as I'm starting to learn. I had a guy here in Sydney, and I'm not going to say his name, not because I don't know it, but because I didn't ask his permission to, who, okay, there goes all of our power plants, went on over and over and over again how E Tron doesn't need Tron. And boy, is this video proving the opposite. Versus power plant, that's fine. Buddy, if I had it, you would have gotten it. It was all of our power plants, so now our Tron is off. Worm Coil Engine! Thanks. Wonderful. All right, let's turn this on. Actually, no, he hasn't done the thing yet. We'll go to end step. Make a guy. I mean, we can kind of kill his Worm Coil Engine next turn. Not by a lot, truth be told. Thought Not Seer is interesting. So if we get another Construct token, that's a 3/3 for 3 mana. We're not going to get anything exciting. So I think we do just make a mana. No, we don't have. Not a ton of exciting things going on here. The expedition maps don't really. I guess I can get Eldrazi temples, but we're pretty good on lands. Let's just get Relic. Relic just to pop Relic is probably our best bet here. Play Urza Saga. Make more Construct tokens, but for right now... Oh, I forgot. All of our artifacts don't do anything because they played Karn first. So we get to take something out of their hand, but they're in such a dominant position right now. Goodbye, Karn Liber. Don't need you. Okay, they're in a pretty dominant position because even if we, like, kill their Worm Coil Engine, like, they're still going to have 2 Worm tokens is the thing. So I say we take our hit from, you know, Worm Coil Engine. There's nothing we can do about it. I mean, then again, they Karn the Great Creator, they Sanctum Mavugan, they've refilled their hand again. They can just go get Ulamog, exile our two guys. Brutal. And it looks like we're going to have one shining moment where we beat the Hardened Scales deck, and then we went right back to getting destroyed. I'm amazed, though, that pretty much every game we played in are All Is Dust, which used to be a great card, are just completely blank. We're going to go get another artifact card. Walking Ballista. Okay, so they're just going to shoot our stuff down. That also triggers the Sanctum of Ugin. Sure thing, buddy. They kill Thought-Knot Seer. I mean, as long as... We can just use this point. As long as we can keep one creature alive and have 1 mana, the dismembering the Wormcoil Engine kind of helps. Doesn't help a ton. They did go get Ulamog, so this game is actually just over. You know, you don't want to say, oh man, draw go is so important, but it really is feeling important right now. Just hit me, buddy. Do what you gotta. And we drew a land. That is wonderful. We can play our swamp. It's not actually going to save us any life. All right, so, boy, not only are we learning that Eldrazi Tron's not a great deck anymore, but we are really also seeing why, definitively, by multiple decks, that E Tron is just not a thing. Ulamog, okay, goodbye, we're done here. You can't make me stay, opponent. You can't make me stay. All is dust, get out of my deck. Kozilek, get in my deck. Deck, please, 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 please give me some of the cards I need. I don't know what else to say other than skill issue, I suppose. All right, this hand is unkeepable. This hand has no lands. Man, Tron just dislikes me. Sure, why not? I hate you too, deck. Never casting that. I guess the swamp doesn't. All right, so first turn power plant into expedition map. It's gonna look like we're gonna have turn 3 Tron, but we sure aren't. And we've had to mull to a hand that's just not a thing. I can't wait for their turn 3 Tron off a keep 7 again. Urza's power plant. The Urza land we don't need. I guess just play another Urza's power plant. We're so dead. We drew a land. I can't believe that. Oh, good. Turn 3 Tron by the opponent. Dramatic Star. They're even styling on us at this. Do they have natural Tron again? Did they do this because they have natural Tron? Or are they just like fearful of whatever? Okay, I guess we go get Urza's Mine at this point, and we just, because like getting Eldrazi Temple doesn't actually do anything. We don't have any Eldrazi in our hand. Now, if I draw a Thought-Knot Seer, I feel bad. I drew a Dismember, so I don't feel bad at all. We are just running a dud of a day, and I don't want to say a dud of a deck. Like, this list has done well. It has won games. It has 5-0'd on Arena or Mitgo. Clearly not when I'm piloting it. Clearly when I pilot, I'm just here banging rocks together. Sanctum of Ugin. This is so demoralizing, man. Because like, okay, you play a brew, it doesn't work. That's totally fine. It's something that you came up with. You know, you are not a Magic the Gathering like prodigy. You know, you play a deck that's known for doing well and it just doesn't work, especially a deck that you've played in the past and it does work. I also love how our only hand that had Chalice of the Void had no lands, which could have stopped this, but no. Oh, we found an Eldrazi Temple anyway. Good for the Eldrazi Temple. So we get to play Karn, which kind of stops his stuff. He didn't kill Karn, which leads me to believe he has nothing to fear. Love to use. What stops our opponent here? Stone Brain's too late. Soldering Titan does nothing. Trinisphere is too late. I guess we can get a Pithing Needle, or even like a liquid. Let's get a liquid metal coating and just swing for the fences. I'm pretty sure we're not going to get a chance to actually lock him out. I'm pretty sure they're going to play Karn Liberated and eat our Karn and leave us with a liquid metal coating that does Bupkiss. Ulamog. Okay, or they get to exile 2 things. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. You can't make me stay in this game. Bye-bye. Goodbye. 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 I'm done. All right. We're in the last one. We had a roll-off, and we lost. So that's an entire video where we got 0 die roll wins. You know what, deck? We have a Chalice. We don't have Tron, but at this point, I just want to get this over with. This was a beating. All right. What do you got? Nothing good. Dismember. So now we have a wonderful moment where we don't draw any lands. That's great. Overgrown Tomb, Yawgmoth maybe? See what's going on here. Feels like Yawgmoth. Okay, so it is Yawgmoth. We get hit for 2, which is fine. We'll play Chalice on 1 next turn because we really don't have anything else to do. I don't think the Dismembering a Strangleroot Geist is a great play. A Warping Whale. Well, that'll be good next turn. I think it is important to stop 1-drops though. It's funny too because at this point, probably like 9% of the people who start watching this video are still watching it just based on how this stuff works. Maybe Court of Calling they're doing. Oh well. And I can go ahead and name this video like, is Eldrazi Tron still a playable deck? And if you ever see like anything that's asking like, is X Y? The answer is no. Like if you see it in a newspaper like, oh, is this going to change whatever forever? The answer is always no. So for those of you who've stayed this long, like you get to, oh good, we drew an Expedition map. I love everything. Goodbye, Strangleroot Geist. They have a lot of mana. They can't play like Young Wolves or anything. They can still play Yawgmoth. I mean, they're in a much better position than us. Next turn, we're going to have to use Urza's Saga for mana, and then find an Expedition map, and then use our floating mana to find, I guess, another Tron piece at this point. Oh, good. I'm glad that's back. This is also something where I feel like we are kind of hating them out of the game a little bit with our Chalice of the Void, but if we sit here and just die to Strangleroot Geists, like, that's not going to help. All right, so we drew a land, which is nice. We go ahead and let this ability go off. We go get an Expedition map. We crack the Expedition map. We go get Urza's Power Plant. We play Urza's Power Plant. And now we just chill. Because next turn we'll have Tron, which is nice. And hopefully that gets us really going in this game. Our opponent seems to be having a hard time, like, getting a Court of Calling or doing something to get a Yawgmoth out. Here. So that's going to die with a Dismember pretty shortly. We get hit for 2. We're going to get hit for a lot. All right. So we'll go ahead and just make Hapatra. Oh, nope. Whatever you're trying to do. Oh, no. Why did it make 2? Oh, okay. Wall of Roots. Beseiju Who Endures. Well, that's unfortunate. We'll kill the Hapatra anyway. We're not going to have Tron next turn, which is unfortunate. Beseiju is one of those cards, though, that they just printed to try and slow Tron down. That's not a terrible problem. We do have Swamps, so we are going to get a land, just not Tron, which would have been great. Okay. So we probably could have saved 2 life if I had timed that a little bit better. I'm now realizing that out loud, but right now, let's just get a Walking Ballista out as a blocker. Save ourselves 2 lives. Next turn, we do get to get Karn down, which is a thing. Or we can even just play Reality Smasher, like, as a blocker, which might help. Also, it's interesting that they feared me getting Tron more. This looks like, yeah, Yawgmoth. So that's a thing. Healing himself Phyrexian. Undying Stranglerootgeist, sure. Oh, on one, that can go on any creature, huh? I've never seen anyone actually use the Yawgmoth ability offensively. That's a new one. Either way, just ping our opponent here. It's amazing that I've been playing Modern this long, and I just now realized that Yawgmoth can be used offensively, only because the only time he gets played is in a, you know, combo manner. Stranglerootgeist coming in for 3. Another Urza's Tower does us no favors. So we play Karn dies, but then at least we have something in our hand. This is brutal. I thought we were doing okay, but we pretty much just got dismantled this game. So what do we want to play next turn? We'll have 5 mana. Green Titan kind of does stuff, but I'm nowhere near 8 mana. I could do like a Grafdigger's Cage and completely stop their combo. Is that where we want it? They have Besagis, so I guess all of this is pretty fragile. So I could get like a Tormod's Crypt, and I would get to do both. Yeah, so I guess Tormod's Crypt, while not terribly exciting, is actually our best shout. All right, we get Wang for 2 probably. Yeah, because Karn's gonna. Oh no, we're at 5. Man, that life total, it goes down fast, don't it? Okay, all this just is finally fine. It's only good, though, if we, like, actually draw into our stuff. I see no reason to change this deck at this point, so screw it. All right, we finally get to go first. Sure. This actually has a whole bunch of cool stuff going on here. We get to Chalice again, which is nice. All right, so here comes Urza's Power Play. And ship the turn. What would be the worst 1-drop our opponent could have? Like, Ignoble Hierarch, probably. Well, we could Warping Whale Ignoble Hierarch. Come on, you have a 1-drop. There's no way you don't. Don't even tease. Bird of Paradise. Okay, so while bolting the bird is a time-honored tradition, I do think chalicing our opponent out of the game might be a little bit more important. We can always Warping Whale the next turn, too. Eldrazi Temple. Awesome, but things for next turn. I do think just chalicing as soon as we can is a good idea. Okay, so now next turn we get to Matter Reshaper, and we can even Mind Stone. Or we could just kill the Bird of Paradise, depending on what they do now. All right, anybody? Riss. That's kind of brutal. Expedition map. So I think we get rid of Bird of Paradise at this point. So we play Blast Zone, we play Mind Stone, we play Warping Whale, get rid of Bird of Paradise. The Griss is now going to be able to take out like a creature each turn, which isn't great. Also, it's kind of amazing how like Reality Smasher had the first kind of pseudo ward out there where when it was targeted by a spell that your opponent controlled, counter it unless they discard a card. But Reality Smasher doesn't say anything about abilities, and so much of the removal we've seen today has been abilities. Oh, they even hit? They hit an insect? An insect creature was milled this way. Where'd they? Oh, the Haywire Mite. Okay, so this got even worse. Haywire Mite powered up Yawgmoth. Urza's Tower. So we go 1-2. We still get to pump up Blast Zone, which is nice. We're gonna kill the Matter Reshaper with Griss, which is fine. It stops them from gaining a token for a turn while we try and pump up our Blast Zone to get rid of Griss. And then at any point, we could draw the kind of card we need, and that would be great. By the way, at some point, our opponent said yeesh. I'm not sure what he's so upset about. He has a Griss on the field. Because what would be best is like killing Matter Reshaper into another Matter Reshaper to just kind of like stick on the field would be cool. Oh, they're just going to keep making Griss tokens. I mean, now we actually have a bit of a block going on. Or are they just going to Yawgmoth it down? It looks like they're just about to Yawgmoth it down. 4 mana, here comes Yawgmoth. Yep, that's a thing. Now they just get to kill Matter Reshaper? Right, well, up Blast Zone. Another land! The last thing we needed! So play Urza's Tower, tap Urza's Power Plant, draw a card. Oh, man. Oh, no. Eldrazi Tron, you are bottom of the pile. We have done better, like, doing so... I guess I didn't want to kill it because I didn't want whatever it was going to be in my hand. Oh, boy. Hey, remember when the Eldrazi were, like, the problem, and they were something that people were actively like, oh, my God, they're invading everything, and it's Eldrazi winter, and then, yeah, no, that's not the case anymore. Oh, maybe it's a trade. That's weird. You want those insect tokens? If my hand was anything, I would have played it out. Nothing like drawing all of our maps into our own Chalice. Court of Calling for something big and scary. They want for 3 mana. Magus of the Moon. Oh, man. What a blowout. Oh, man. We have seen how every deck in Modern, how Every deck in Modern has Eldrazi Tron's number. And they passed? Our opponent, are you just having fun? Is that what this is to you? Just something to have fun with? I don't know if our opponent is just scarred from a previous Tron match, but buddy, I have nothing. I have less than nothing. I blew up my Mind Stone, and you Maggist of the Mooned me. My Reality Smasher in my hand does nothing. You have a Gris in play with 4 insect tokens. Who hurt you, opponent? Yes, I would like to play Matter Reshaper. It came back. Matter Reshaper, that's a really weird version of Graveyard Recursion there. When you kill Matter Reshaper, it just comes back into play. It's like Dredge. I'd rather be playing Dredge right now. What's funny is, like, I'm sure my opponent is getting, like, upset and annoyed that this is going on, but honestly, they're still in such a commanding position. The fact that every time you sack a creature with Yogg, you draw a card is insane. Chalice. No. I mean, we're dead. We are deader than dead. Because even if we play a Karn, we're not going to be able to, like, do anything. Like, if we drew another land and then we drew like another Karn and we could Ensnaring Bridge immediately, like, yeah, we can kind of do something. Not a lot of something, truth be told, but we can kind of do something. Our opponent has drawn 10 more cards than us this game. I also want to point out. Okay, they're finally going on the attack 37 years later. If we drew our Wastes, that would be super cool. Not for very long, because again, like, the Reality Smasher is just going to die to Gris. Even if we do take Gris down to 4, that's not down to 0. Another Magus of the Moon. We draw nothing, and we like it. You lose. Good day, sir. What do people 5-0 with Eldrazi Tron? Like, everything in the meta. Everything. Like, yeah, maybe if you go up against, like, 5 Brews or something. But just in the meta, you get pretty stomped. Doing now. Eldritch Evolution. Stranglerootgeist. Sure. Even had we played our Chalice, they would have gotten us. Because Eldritch Evolution gets around it. Ugin the Ineffable. All right, so we get rid of... We don't have Tron, though. So 1, 2, 3... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We end up with 1 mana. I guess we do just kill Yawgmoth? Yeah, because Gris can kill Planeswalkers, because of course it can. Yeah, I guess we just kill Yawgmoth. I mean, we're still super dead, right? Because they just sacrifice Strangleroot in response because Yawgmoth is at instant speed. Or not. Okay. They can deal us 5? Or they deal us 4, they kill Ugin as well. This is actually not a bad time to find our All is Dust. But, like, the problem is we can't, like, we don't have Tron right now. We can't, like, capitalize on this. Oh, just swing it at me. Okay. I mean, don't get me wrong. You're right. Go to 2, so pretty much anything can kill us now. If we... What? Oh, they minused Gris. Okay, what was the next card? Midgo does not want to tell me. Anyway, that was awful. Let's go to the wrap-up because I'm very done. That was brutal. That was, like, Scred level of brutal. This, of course, this is not a list I made. This is a list I found that 5-0'd as much as like 4 days ago, this 5-0'd. And when the deck behaves, as we saw in 1 match out of 5, it was able to do stuff. But boy, just kind of as is, I got the snot kicked out of me. And again, like, my deck was trying to do stuff. It was trying to stay in there. It was trying to move things. But honestly, at this point, if you want to play Tron, just play Green Tron. Just play good old traditional, draw a million cards with your artifacts that you crack over and over again, because this is just not going to do it. You know, it doesn't have any card selection. It doesn't have any way of drawing extra cards outside of like Mind Stone. Again, I realize I am not a master Tron player, and if you've made it this far and you are one of those guys who are like, oh my god, all these lines you did were awful, I get it. You know, everyone's like, I'm still good with Eldrazi and Taxes. That deck hasn't been in the meta forever as well. But I think Eldrazi Tron is just not where it's at any. You know, Karn the Great Creator, very powerful card. When you have Tron, it feels broken, but I just don't think, you know, this is where it's at right now. I do think Mono Green Tron, obviously, it stomped us. It can still work well. I don't think this is also a deck where if I had been a little bit more on the, you know, I call it Tron discipline, where you just mull until you get Tron, but this deck doesn't do that. It doesn't have enough. It has no Ancient Stirrings. It doesn't have any Sylvan Scryings. Yeah, it has the Expedition maps, but not really. I don't know, man. I think we can go ahead and leave this one in the was good at some point in the past, but not good anymore. And yes, we all miss it. And the reason I used to love it is this was truly a colorless deck in Magic. And it was really cool to see a true colorless deck in Magic. Kind of like how I love seeing Dredge. And Dredge, while it's not a traditional way of playing Magic, it is a cool way of playing Magic. And I thought a truly colorless deck was also cool, which is why I own this in paper. But clearly, with the meta being what it is, and if we really kind of look into it a little bit more, this isn't playing any Modern Horizons cards. And if you're not playing Modern Horizons cards, you're not going to win. You're going to get your teeth kicked in. And that's what we saw here. We got our teeth kicked. Yeah, we beat one guy who kind of salted off a little bit, and we did actually win a game. But other than that, we just got stomped over and over and over again. And I am going to release this video. I mean, I'm proud of it. It kind of does show where Tron, at least E Tron, is at. But yeah, no, you can't win them all. And clearly, E Tron is just not as powerful as it once was. Sorry to all the E Trons fans out there. Thank you very much. I will see you again next week, and later.